penguin? The penguin on... Well, I don't know if I want to finish that sentence.
Yeah, probably not.
We're in After Dark now.
Okay, the penguin on meth thing that we were talking about. Like, where Stodge starts, like, flapping her hands with excitement.
Oh, she does. So, Mini Stoge
The Stojanovsky skip.
I need to be on here.
Yeah, so Stoge, are you...
It's not really a defense. What are you going to say?
I just want to point
No, I don't do that.
I just want to point out that
You
that
literally are on
Stoge is
camera
standing
doing
right
it.
now, and you both
wow,
are sitting
you're
almost.
just-
I know,
as
she's
tall.
almost as tall as me sitting.
So
I mean, I can't help that.
So,
See,
yeah,
I took
no.
this chair so that you wouldn't have to be uncomfortable, and then I realized it made you look
That's
really short.
fine. I am really short. That's okay.
No, you're taller than I am.
Hey, I mean, you cleared your computer screen, so that's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lisa is powered by
Sugar.
sugar.
And
Bubbles.
happiness.
Fairy bread.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
Not
By
by happiness. Don't
fairy
say
bread.
that
Yep.
crap.
Powered by fairy bread.
Nobody
I
knows
was
what
going to make
fairy bread
for the
is.
show today, but then
No,
we
and you
rushed,
forgot
so
that
I
too. Okay, cool.
forgot.
Oh, darn. Oh, shucks. Dang it.
Sweet.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
She came on camera to defend herself about being a flapping penguin, and then she proceeded to be a flapping
flapping
penguin.
penguin.
She's
Yeah,
like,
no,
"No, I
that's-
feel like I need to be defending myself. I was like, you did. How?
I didn't even know that I do it.
She's powered by
What's this? What's this? Fairy bread.
It's amazing.
Oh, no, hang on. No, stay right there.
no,
Stay right there.
Oh,
Stay right
Kyle
there.
Sells, what is fairy bread? Oh my goodness.
wow.
Let me explain to you how you are not missing out on anything.
Right.
Google it and go, oh, that's disgusting. Why
Is
do
there-
people like that? And then wonder why she's doing what it is she's doing right now.
Is there such a thing as unicorn fairy bread?
I don't know, but I should make that happen.
So,
Yeah.
so let's be fair. Ben gets obscenely excited about his crappy donut from his childhood.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's the only connection that I can make.
Yep.
But I don't like flap like this. I mean,
I feel like you should, Ben.
No, I don't.
I'm sorry.
No, what I do is far worse. What I do is I book a flight across the country
I'm sorry, you don't flap like what?
like this.
GIF. That's a GIF now.
All right. Does the
Okay,
internet
that was
want me
my
to
hair.
hang out? You want me to do it to hang out? I'll just.
gross. I'm disgusted.
Wow.
Good times.
Dude, so last week at Disney, we bought her a bubble wand.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's not. It's horrifying.
It's horrifying.
It never ends.
If you were in the Citizen Hangout, you would already know how amazing this bubble wand is because I spent like half the hangout.
Probably
You know,
have
you keep using
PTSD
the
for
word.
it as well.
I was
don't think it means
coated
what
in
you think
soap.
it means. Scott Provost says there are more people in China learning English than there are people in the USA,
Whoa.
but they're definitely not learning it from this show.
No. That's very
Thanks,
true.
Josh.
Just,
Yeah. Yeah.
in case that was a
Even
question.
Alexa has trouble understanding it.
No, Lisa does not have her mic on, and there's a very good reason for that. You do not need to hear anything she's saying.
Accurate.
Wow.
Very.
Wow.
Wow, well, we are violently against each other on this particular show. Like I'm just ripping into you for no reason whatsoever. You're ripping into her for like no reason whatsoever.
I'm channeling my Ben. I was doing it earlier too, by the way. And then second,
I do pick a target in each show, and I'm like, you are my prey
Okay
now.
with that. I can do that.
I don't even want to be here right now with you.
But to be honest,
mother-
how difficult it is to like continue to fight my point during the roundtable. I was like, yeah, no, I give up about halfway through this. I don't even know what to do. This is terrible.
Skylab. Oops.
Skylab, I forgot. Yeah, I did it again.
Okay, but to be fair, because after we said, like, basically, humans have no will to go out any further than we already have, and Skylab is just but I only feel comfortable putting my toe in the ocean. Like, that's what that felt like. So I don't feel like we wanted those two messages to come together.
Did you see Jonathan McDowell had his Skylab hat on?
No.
Yeah, on Twitter. It was amazing. So
No, I don't think that's fair though, because Skylab wasn't necessarily. We didn't think we were necessarily receding. Skylab was supposed to be kind of the launching post for us to create the shuttle Earth, the shuttle station Mars transit system. So it was supposed to be kind of that learning system for us to go further. So yeah, we came backwards a little bit in order to try to go forwards, but we came backwards and then just kept coming backwards. we didn't move
It's kind of like the Australian space program.
So Dwight, unfortunately, we can't Skype you in because we've got science coming up, which will be absorbing our Skype stuff. But to that end, the Searching
of
for
science.
Skylab is nearing completion, and it does definitely need your support. So once again, if you support Searching for Skylab, and you're a patron of TMRO, and you just move your Patreon funds over to Searching for Skylab, and you do that, let me know, Benjamin at TMRO.tv. I'll make sure that you continue to get all your Patreon rewards for the month, so you're not giving anything up on TMRO, and you're helping to crowdfund the Searching for Skylab documentary, which I really want to get funded because I'm super excited for it. And it's not an obscene goal. It's like, what, 25,000 US or something like that? I mean, it's a really, really achievable goal. Yeah. Thank you, Vax. Yeah, there's the Kickstarter link. It definitely needs our help. So anything that we can do in the 11th hour, Carrie and I have contributed. Please, anything we can do to get this thing funded is about halfway there. About halfway there. So we got 6 more days to raise about $10,000 more. And that is super achievable if we decide that we want. We just have to decide we want to do it.
We choose to
come together.
go to Kickstarter, not because they're easy, but because we want it funded.
I mean, to be fair, that is the argument that I just chose out of the hat to a certain extent, and
Yeah.
I fought for it as hard as I could.
I mean,
Because I have to have a differing opinion, right? Like,
No. That's my role. My role is to make sure that the conversation continues and to push back a little
Why are you
bit.
showing me a
Yeah.
picture of musk sticks?
Because someone sent you a link to Musk sticks.
Sticks
Because
are amazing. Also, Jared needs to do a space pod.
Actually, musk sticks are not bad. I will admit to that.
Okay, this got awkward.
Musk-flavored lifesavers, though, not nearly as good.
All right, Jared.
You gotta do a space pod.
Yeah, don't eat that right before a space pod. Absolutely not.
Eat it during the space pod.
No,
Just-
no.
I kind of think that would be amazing. Like, as you're doing the space pod, just take another bite of an ear.
Yeah, exactly, right?
they're very happy bunnies.
know.
People are asking about Mars One, and I'll tackle that if they want.
Go.
Short story is a journalist wrote an article that another journalist had written 3 years ago, pretty much rehashing the same stuff that's been refuted in the last 3 years, and people are claiming it's news. I spoke to the journalist, she interviews me, I'm in like the first part of the article. There's not really much to say.
So there's this. I got some messages on Reddit saying, "Hey, blah blah blah. I shouldn't be bringing Mars One up in the show. Don't give them any credence. They're a scam." And here's the thing: no, they're not. So you and I have had conversations about this. If Mars One is anything, it's not a scam. It's never going to Mars. It's never going to make it to Mars. It's never going to put humans on Mars. They have no idea what they're doing. But that doesn't make it a scam. It's a bunch of people who are passionate about going to space and going to Mars. That part is true. And are trying to find a path to do it. That part is true too. They're not trying to scam people out of money. They're legitimately trying to make this happen. They won't make it happen. This is where you and I
This is
disagree.
where we disagree, yeah.
There's no way. There's just no possible way they have any idea what they're doing. It's
There's
like
definitely
misstep
no
after
way that
misstep.
you can land a 14-story building on a shoebox in the middle of the ocean.
And that is the key here, and that's
Like,
why I won't.
No way.
Right,
On 4 tiny little legs and like 1 engine.
right, and that's the thing. Is it's impossible until it isn't anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not going to not promote Mars One on the show. I'm not going to be like, oh, Mars One is banned. It is a thing that we're not going to talk about. It's It's nothing like that, but it's also not something that I'm going to actively pursue on the show because until I see something that, to your point, like landing rockets is you can't do that. And then you start seeing some tests and you start seeing some attempts to get there and you start going, actually, I'm starting to see some progress here. Yeah. Now, once Mars One gets me to that, actually, I'm starting to see some progress
also,
here.
to be fair, like, humans are too squishy to go into space. They definitely would explode.
That was a thing.
And real food in space, that's not a thing. Everything definitely has to be goo.
There was like a worry that you wouldn't be able to swallow.
And women, oh my God, menstruation in space? No.
It almost sounds like you guys
No,
have
the space
read
sharks
my
will come.
book.
They can smell it. Like,
So, I mean, no, that's no joke. That was an actual
that
thing.
was NASA was very concerned about putting women in space.
They had to figure out, the engineers were like, are you going to have to take up like 700 sanitary napkins with you on the way up? And it was like-
700.
This was no joke. These were actual things
Because they were like,
saying.
because that's
to the-
heavy, and we need to prepare for that kind of payload. Like, that's a lot we need because you're a woman. And so we need to be prepared for that. How many do you think you need? Is 700 enough?
Also, here's a makeup kit.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Definitely make sure you look pretty in space.
So again, there's mountains of questions in here about MIT proving we'd suffocate. Like, all of this stuff's been dealt with. Like, this is all publicly available, but it hasn't necessarily had the same press as, oh my God, Mars One's a scam. Like, that grabs
So,
headlines.
and I think that's the
course it
key.
does.
That's the key thing here is Mars One is not a scam. I don't think they will accomplish their goals.
Sure, but that
I
doesn't make it a
won't-
scam.
But as A, that doesn't make it a scam, and B, I am eager to be proven wrong on that as well. I'm not anti-Mars One. I would like to see them actually make some real progress towards reaching those goals, and I just don't see any of that. So I based on the data that I have, I don't think they're going to make it, but I also don't think that they're trying to scam anyone out of money.
And
So
I don't think SLS is ever going to fly, but I'd love to be proven wrong because
Yeah, but they're-
Stodge and I.
Yeah, no,
currently
we're
have
all
a
just going to
bet.
agree with you there.
Yeah,
It's fine.
but like we have a bet that it'll fly. You reckon it'll fly once?
Yeah,
I don't
once.
think it'll ever fly.
fly one camp, boom.
And whoever wins that has to buy the other person a ticket on BFR. Like, that's the deal.
Your bet is substantially larger than mine with Dave Maston. Mine was like $1 bet that's grown into a steak dinner without Dave Maston knowing.
Something similar in history called the spruce goose, by the way.
Oh yeah, spruce goose, like it'll never fly. So there are many examples.
Fly higher long, but it flew.
Yeah, there are many examples throughout human history where people thought it was a scam or something else like that. So, and you know, people there were people who didn't necessarily take issue to you being on the show, but took issue to
Yeah.
giving credence to Mars One.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair because I don't think that the articles that were written about Mars One are. I think they're deceiving. I think is the word I want to use. I think it's headline grabbing. They're almost scamming people more than Mars One is scamming people.
I have to be careful about what I say here.
Yeah, you should
But,
probably opt
yeah.
not to. But I don't agree with the article. I don't agree with those articles fundamentally. I think that data was just attention grabbing. They were just trying to grab people and viewers. But I also don't think that until I see some evidence that Mars One is making forward progress, which I'm eager to see. Right? Maybe they're doing a bunch of stuff behind the scenes that I can't see.
So am I.
Jared has a space pod,
Progress is
and
right.
we need to prepare for science.
And it's a complicated space
All right.
pod too.
Great. So let's do that.
Cool.
All right. Let me make sure that this isn't going to start buzzing in my ear real quick.
I think once I move, that should help.
It's
Thank you.
red, but I'll risk it. But I don't
thank you.
really actually need it.
Yeah.
So.
Dwight is requesting you mention the TMRO upgrade offer on air
I don't understand the
for a,
question.
for a Kickstarter.
We just did that.
There's a TMRO upgrade offer? I don't know.
No, what we just talked about. Yeah.
Better? Better? Okay, good.
You can have mine, Lisa. You're main host, right?
No, Jade is.
Oh, Jade is main host. Then
Yeah,
Jade
so
should
she
be on one.
But I'm doing the interview, so I should probably have you.
Oh, actually, yes, you should be on one.
So
I'll give Jade mine.
I feel like I need to compensate like this for future Mohawk.
I feel like that's too high.
Future Mohawk. Look up.
Even with regular mohawk, it's like you're way overestimating.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, right now it's just a Warhawk. So.
Oh, I hate this tripod so much. I know. I'm off mic. I'm transitioning one over to Lisa.
Whenever you're ready, Jared.
Looks scared.
More perturbed. Okay, I'm taking this out
There you go.
for now.
Duck down a little bit.
Oh! God, It hurts. This?
Yes. Oh, push it just. It was in the shot.
Okay, gotcha. I couldn't see, so I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I was so confused. It's not like I could hear you anyhow. So, come on!
Well, when I push the button, everybody else can. I don't know what your problem is. Oh,
Fine,
wait,
I'm
you
calm.
took your ears
I'm
out.
Calm. I'm calm.
Oh my god. Okay. Are we gonna do this or should I?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, let's do this. All right, that was about 1/3 of pugs, so, all right. Oh, that felt nice. Did you hear that all the way over there? Yeah. So should I do it one more? Should I do the other side?
Get this done with, please.
Shut up, everybody. Be quiet. All right, we good? All right. In a galaxy quite far away from us, an incredible discovery has been made. And it's not exactly what's in the galaxy, but what's lacking in the galaxy itself. And this is your space pod.
Hold. Benny's running by camera and making Jared shake.
Sake, I had it. So.
Blame it on Ben. It's Ben's fault.
All right. Also, that was definitely not the words I wrote on the script, but it was words, so. Huh? It's a pretty big story. This? Yeah, actually, this is like for the dark matter world, this is a huge confirmation. This is almost like catching the signal of the gravity wave for the first time. So, yeah. All right, let's do it. In a galaxy far away, an incredible discovery has been made. And it's not what's in the galaxy that's surprising to us, but what actually isn't in that galaxy. And this is your space pod for April 5th, 2018. All right. I really like talking about dark matter, and I really appreciate the enthusiasm the community of tomorrow has whenever we do a pod or a story about it during our live show. Now, this pod, of course, will be about a story involving dark matter, or more specifically, the lack of it. And us astronomers, we're scratching our heads, but we're also not sweating the details on this one. In fact, we're relishing in the lack of it. Good? Okay, I'm gonna move ahead. One more time? Shoot. Okay. I really like talking about dark matter. It's a fascinating subject to me, and I really appreciate the enthusiasm the community of tomorrow has commenting on our space pods or our news stories about dark matter. And this space pod, yep, we're going to be talking about dark matter, or specifically the lack thereof, which is making us scientists kind of scratch our heads. But we're not sweating about the lack of dark matter, we're actually relishing in it. Good? Good to move on? Okay. Sweet. There's a loud noise. So from next door, should I bang on the wall? Okay, all right.
Is that the intro or the story?
Huh?
Is that the intro or the story?
Intro. It's still intro. Now I'm going to do the story. So. I'm talking about this galaxy here, lovingly named NGC 1052-DF2. If it looks a bit anemic to be called a galaxy, you're not wrong. It's the same volume and overall size of the Milky Way, but has 200 times fewer stars. And those stars are all clumped together at very far distances of, I'm going to redo that. So, sorry guys. I'm talking about this galaxy here, lovingly named NGC 1052-DF2. If it looks a bit anemic to be called a galaxy, you're not wrong. It's the same volume and overall size of the Milky Way, but has 200 times fewer stars. And those stars are all clumped together at very far distances apart from each other. So diffuse is this galaxy that those blobs behind it in this image from Hubble are other more distant galaxies. Now, this galaxy has a lot to say about dark matter, but how do we detect something that doesn't emit electromagnetic radiation, also what we call light? This is something that's been asked in the comments of SpacePods about dark matter before, so let's dive a bit into our detection and how we view dark matter. We primarily use two techniques to determine where dark matter is. Gravitational lensing is one. Now, dark matter imports a gravitational force, which means it can bend light. And we can see that gravitational pull in the bending of light from distant objects like galaxies, especially light coming through large-scale galaxy clusters. And the bending is far beyond the mass of the visible matter. Now, another way that we look at how
paragraph again?
Oh, sorry.
You said imports, not imparts.
Okay, do you want me to go ahead and go back and redo that?
Yeah.
Okay. We primarily use two techniques to determine where dark matter is. Gravitational lensing is one that we use. Dark matter imparts a gravitational force, which means it can bend light. And we can see that gravitational pull in the bending of light from distant objects like galaxies, especially light coming through large-scale galaxy clusters. And the bending is far beyond the mass of the visible matter. Now, another way is that we look at how fast objects are moving inside of a galaxy, or how fast whole individual galaxies are moving in huge galaxy clusters. And we find that galaxies themselves and galaxies in clusters are moving too fast to account for just visible matter. The faster something moves, especially in large-scale structures, the more mass is needed to keep it all together. Now, many alternate theories have been hypothesized, such as modified Newtonian gravity, and they work at local levels, but scale them up to either macroscopic or scale them down to quantum levels, and they completely fall apart. They're like Swiss cheese. They're delicious, but they're full of holes, and science isn't a fan of holes. Now, Peter Van Dokkum, a professor of astronomy and physics at Yale, led a team that studied NGC 152-DF2. They observed this extremely diffuse galaxy with the Dragonfly telephoto array in New Mexico as a part of a survey to find diffuse galaxies that astronomers may have missed. Eventually, the Keck and Gemini telescopes in Hawaii and Hubble in orbit were also brought on board to have a look. Now, researchers measured the speed of the clusters of the stars, and they found that they were moving at an extremely slow pace. From this orbital velocity data, they determined that the mass of the galaxy is startling to us. It contains little, if any, dark matter, roughly 1/400th of what would be expected of a galaxy of similar size. Now, you'll note earlier I said that science doesn't like holes, and you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, Jared, I know you and the astronomical community at large think that dark matter actually does exist, but isn't this a pretty gaping hole? Well, surprisingly, it isn't. If anything, it's a data point that strengthens the argument for the existence of dark matter. Honest to goodness, the formation of this galaxy without dark matter is a massive mystery, and time has been granted on the Hubble Space Telescope to further assist the studies. Now, some ideas include that it may have sprung from a cloud of gas that didn't have much dark matter around it. But how does a lack of dark matter actually solidify the argument for dark matter itself? Well, those modified theories of gravity, when you apply them at galactic levels, they result in galaxies all behaving uniformly. But finding a galaxy with the behavior of NGC 1052-DF2, which is completely out of line, doesn't add up. It violates the expected behaviors predicted under these modified theories of gravity. All right, good to come back? All right, cool. Finding a galaxy acting weirdly in a non-uniform universe lines up exactly with what we'd expect if a mysterious force was actually at play. Of course, there will be galaxies devoid of it, and there will be galaxies with it as well. And the proof, well, it's in the pudding. So, for now, dark matter, it lives to see another day. Now, if you like this space pod, don't forget to tune in to our episode that we had this week, 11.13. And we were talking about what exactly is holding humanity back from returning ourselves to the cosmos and beyond where we have gone. So if you like us, don't forget to subscribe to us and visit our Patreon and Maker support that we have in the comments below. So, I screwed that up, so. Oh, right, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I'll make sure to, I'm going to go back and redo that completely, so. Okay. Finding a galaxy acting weirdly in a non-uniform universe is exactly what we would expect to see if there was some kind of mysterious force at play. Of course there'd be galaxies devoid of it, and this is the proof in the pudding. So for now, dark matter lives to see the light of another day. Now, if you like this space pod, don't forget to tune in to Orbit 11.13, our previous episode, where we talk about what exactly is holding humanity back from returning to the cosmos. And don't forget to like and subscribe to us. And also, if you like this and our show, you can help crowdfund the shows of tomorrow by heading on over to patreon.com/TMRO or makersupport.com/TMRO. So, until the next space pod, keep exploring. How's that, good? I'll take it, so.
It's like 2 after darks in one. That's what you get on a double show day. Thank you, Hawaiian Ryan. Thanks for watching. Are you a new viewer? I think you must be a new viewer. Glad you like it.
Blob. All right, so do we need more time in between the shows? Is that what happened?
I think that's potentially, yeah. So I don't think we had time to check the media before we started, because otherwise we would have picked up on the issue, right? So maybe we start science later. Or because I also don't want to like kill the after dark of space, right? Like if there's interesting conversation happening in After Dark for space, I don't want that to like everyone to feel rushed, like they have to close up After Dark quicker.
I mean, yeah, if there's interesting conversation, but
I know, chat room, what do you think?
I think like what the issue is as far as like the media is just that like.
yeah, how did that happen? Like, I know someone said folders, but Casper Casper supports folders. So was there a change made?
I did change it where I had it in the main news folder, and then I created a separate folder just because it makes it a lot more clean and concise for each person with uploading, so that we're not
The first
trying to scroll through it.
that,
but the issue is that
the
I had
first couple of
originally-
links did not have
Right.
didn't dig into the folder.
So the first couple of links were still under the original news folder, the general one,
So you
and
put
I
the
never
links in
converted
before-
it. So
yeah,
that was
okay.
the thing. It was just because I actually ended up never doing that.
But that's also me not
Otherwise-
checking them
Not checking the
and
media?
approving
Oh.
that as well. Like
But you would have no way of knowing that.
true. Like
we
when I
preview
went
it,
through, I
but-
just was like, okay, cool. There's a link there. It looks right, but like it
Yeah,
didn't.
that's not something you can check. That has to be checked Casper's side prior
Right,
to the
okay.
show. So, and you didn't have enough time to check science this morning? But science was done prior to space.
I was
don't have to
concentrating
fill
on
that in, so
switching-
someone's gonna have to convey.
I was concentrating on switching gears from Mike
Concentrating
to
on
Ben.
switching the mics.
No, switching gears from
Switching
Mike to
gears.
Ben.
Oh, okay, from Mike to Ben.
Because we were rushing because of the last
fair.
minute mic band switch.
So do we need 30 more minutes in between the show?
Or for me to be more diligent and check science first. Nobody was here to represent it, so fixing issues and all that would have had to been done earlier. I don't know. I have no excuse.
Gist of it?
Data says that we will just make sure that we check both before we start on double show days.
Because he was focused on space because with science being second and nobody here to represent science, like not the full team to represent.
No, I understand that, but
That's why he was more focused. He said he has no excuse.
I understand that, but my concern is that we're going to have issues in between. I mean, shows are just going to have issues, right? It's just they're not all going to be smooth.
I always
But
feel
don't
rushed
ever
on
wanna-
double show days in between.
Say it again?
Like I always usually feel a little rushed on double show days between like space ending and science starting.
So if
But maybe
we-
that's just me.
If we push it backwards by 30 minutes, that gives us a little of an opportunity to spin down space, clear out after dark, and while we're clearing out after dark, we can check the science rundown at that time instead of checking the science rundown prior to the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Does that seem fair? It also
Yeah.
makes it easier to mention the show because science will be at 2030 UTC instead of 2000 UTC, and 2000 sounds awkward.
It really does.
Yeah. So if we say,
It will also help me getting Australian and New Zealand guests as well the later we make the show.
all right.
Not
so
that that should be a factor, but
are there any objections to me moving science to 2030 UTC?
No.
No?
Other than the fact that we just
All right.
did
As of
science
now,
pods
science is
plugging.
2030 UTC.
Wait, what was that, Duda?
Other than the fact that we just did 2 science pods
Other than the
plugging
fact that we just
2000
did 2
UTC.
science pods.
I understand that. So that's okay. I also just did a website that all says 2000. All right. So, cool. That's all right. We'll do the SciPods as is. They'll say 2000. That's fine. But the next show will be 2030. We also need to update the science calendar, and we need to update all of the upcoming guests and say, hey, everything's
Oh,
30
yeah.
minutes later.
oh yeah,
Is that going to be an issue?
maybe because I booked 2 guests at the moment.
So do we want to, with
Maybe-
the next 2 guests, so we'll do the next 2 shows at 2000, and then the show after that start the conversion over to 2030?
I think that
So
would
July.
be fairer on the guests because they've already kind of cleared their schedules and
I
stuff.
understand. Okay, so that's what we'll do. So the next 2 shows, so March and May, no.
May 5th.
May and
May and
June.
June. May and June remain at 2000 UTC. July begins our show at 2030 UTC.
Yeah.
Okay.
yep,
July
works.
7th.
July, I will not be here.
July, Duda will not
it's
be
okay.
here.
I will probably.
That's
Oh,
fine.
I will not be here either. I have taken kids to space camp.
How long are you?
2 weeks, but it happens to be the 1st and 2nd week of July.
Well, Deborah's gone for the first 2 weeks, first week.
Until the 12th.
Yeah, well, we're both gone. I mean, I can time it from.
We can, what if we back it upwards, do the same thing we did
Yeah,
for this next
we
month,
can
make
do
it
that.
backwards a week? Does that work for everyone?
I'm gone
End of
June
June.
28th to July 12th.
Looking at a calendar.
Where's the calendar?
We pulled, yeah. Let's pull that up.
So if somebody can, if Ben can be Dutta for the science.
I still might not be available because I need to take kids out of Australia on the 1st of July.
Okay. We have a little bit of time to work out that.
Yeah,
schedule.
that's a couple months away, so we can.
Yeah. So I'll take a note that we have an issue, and then we'll figure it out.
Sweet.
And FPV reviews, Pluto's a planet.
That's not. Donna's not going to
Actually,
push that to
speaking
air, so
of-
no one's going to see it.
Boom! Donna's on Team
Damn.
Incredible.
I need to get the switcher software
I'm on
in-
Team
my
Pluto
computer.
Planet.
He's on
Oh
Team
yeah,
Pluto
and I
Planet.
also I like how so when we had that break, I used it because I just got the scope box software working on the iMac. So I used that break. I was cutting between the cameras. All of the internet got to watch me color balance the cameras. They're not perfect, but they're a lot closer than they were before. So that's why everything looked weird for a moment. All right, so we understand what happened for this show. We understand the next 2 shows are fine. We understand how we're going to fix it. Okay, I think all of that works. Yeah.
Pre-
Other
pre-
comments?
Yeah.
Presets are still breaking in.
I need an earpiece.
Presets are breaking in.
in the
Yeah.
In the-
rundown.
Yeah, what happened
reload.
with that?
That's likely due to the software update with PSN, and that's why Space worked, but Science didn't.
Oh,
in
because I
the-
still did science the old way.
Yeah, so I just need to get. I didn't understand the direction that all worked. We had this conversation earlier. So PSN, who makes all of our automation software between Rundown Creator and Casper, gave us an update, and that update allowed us to do cooler things with our comments, so we don't have to manually do things. It works differently than I thought it worked. It actually works way cooler than I thought it worked. So now I need to go back in and fix it for Science, and then I think that problem will go away.
Okay,
I think that's
cool.
what happened. And it read the preset, but it didn't understand it because it only existed for Space and not for Science, which makes sense. I didn't think that was the state I left it in, but it makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Cool.
The hangout was fun,
Yeah?
virtually.
Yeah, the virtual hangout? Yeah, that was a long hangout.
I didn't get to stay for the whole one, but most of it I was there. I
It's
think I did like
normally
2
not that
hours.
intense,
It-
yeah.
how long was it? Like 3 hours or
Oh, it was
3.5,
a long
4?
time.
It was a while.
But to be fair, we hadn't had one in like forever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of content to cover. I won't let it.
A lot of cool stuff.
We'll try
not
to
gonna
not
be
let
that
it get
long
that
next time.
bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Did you guys have fun? That was a fun show.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
It's a different feel having a guest, and I liked it. I liked that
I liked
feel.
it a
I liked
lot.
it a lot,
Yeah,
yeah.
It was
it
good.
was cool.
We do still need to have roundtables, but as I said in the chat room, I think it's going to be heavy on guests if we can, with an occasional roundtable.
Yeah.
Nice thing about roundtables is we have an opportunity to just give people's opinions. So I don't want 12 shows out of the year to be all guests, but maybe like 10 of the 12 would be guests or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
There's
so
a
we've
lot
got
of information.
the next
guess so.
2 science episodes are guests, so that's cool.
Awesome.
It's really awesome.
All right, I think that's it. I think we're gonna go off the air.
I'm
Thank
tired.
you everyone so much for watching. I hope you had fun, and you'll see these episodes published shortly.
Bye.